got that book in the room?
They can't see it.
Is this live or something?
No, it's recorded. All right, so y'all can start by saying your names and how long y'all been married.
It's recorded.
It's right there.
Okay, baby.
Your name and how long you.
I didn't hear what you said.
You can start by saying your name and how long y'all been married.
Oh.
Are you editing?
Yeah.
Okay.
My name is Vincent Bray, and I've been married to Joanne Bray for 22 years. It'll be 23 years, June 22nd, 2019.
Okay, so we can start with the first question. How did you all know that you were right in choosing each other?
In the beginning, we didn't know that we were right. I think we were attracted to each other because we were different. She was someone different than I normally dated. So I think that's what kind of attracted me to her. And I think it's probably the same for her. I can't speak for her, but, I was a different type of guy that she normally dated. So I think opposites kind of attracted at that particular time.
Okay, so what's the key to a successful relationship and marriage?
I would say communication. Effective communication.
And what does that mean?
Being able to get your point across and express how you feel without taking offense to the response or being offended by the response. Being able to take constructive criticism and being able to give it and the other person receive it. I think. And then resolving the issues, if there are issues, before they escalate. What do you think?
Those are some key components to a good relationship. I think being friends, like true friends, is really another key component to having an effective relationship, because you can communicate all you want to, but if you're not friends, all you're doing is just, you're going amongst each other having conversations, either to alleviate some kind of issue that you've been dealing with, or to just trying to iron some things out. But I think an effective relationship, you really need to become friends with your mate, your spouse. Poke fun at each other, laugh, cry together, whatever you need to do. Just like true friendship, you got to feel comfortable with each other, be able to go to one another when you have some kind of issue, just like you would a friend. Mm-hmm. So if you're a friend to your spouse, then it makes it just that much easier. Then you feeling like you have to go to your best friend or some other friend that you have to, cry on their shoulders or whatever. But I think a friendship works, in a relationship. And two, empathizing. If you can't put yourself in their shoes when something is going on, then it's almost like being selfish. So selflessness, that's another key component. Yeah, selflessness. You really have to be selfless. You got to put that person before you. When you really, really, if you really, really are in love with that person, a sense of selflessness goes a long way too.
Do y'all feel like y'all are best friends?
Yeah.
We do now. It took us a while to get there. We weren't there, early in our relationship, but we had to go through some trials and tribulations in order for us to really grow into this friendship that we have right now.
Oh, mutual respect. You gotta have respecting the other person's feelings, respecting them as just respecting them.
Respect them as a person?
Yeah. Just mutual respect, period. I mean, not, like, I would never, if we're having a disagreement amongst people, no one would ever know it, because I would never lash out at him or he would lash out at me in front of people. We would do it, you know, in the privacy of our own home.
And as far as that goes, it's no need to. I mean, it's you know, every relationship, you're gonna have some issues, or you're gonna have some disagreements, but it's never necessary for you to get irate or combative or disrespectful in that disagreement. You have to come to the point to where you can agree to disagree. I mean, we're not always going to be right. We're not always going to get our way. So you have to find that happy medium, and be okay with it. And then, you know, just go with the flow from there, because if you're always butting heads and there's no kind of agreement, you're always going to be dealing with the same issue over and over and over again.
What kind of man do you want for your daughter, and what can Destiny work on?
What I want for that, I want a God-fearing man first and foremost. Somebody who's funny, not stiff. Somebody that likes to have fun, go out, do stuff. Who's not cheap, who's not selfish, who's man enough to handle Destiny.
Somebody, without being overly
without being overly controlling.
Yeah.
But I want him to be strong enough as a man to be able to handle you, because you are headstrong. You are, strong as a young lady. But I do want him to be strong enough to, take responsibility as a man, to love God, to be somebody that you will be willing to follow and trust him enough to follow him. And, as you guys go together, you walk together. I want him to have some kind of financial stability. You don't have to be white collar. I mean, as long as he has a good work ethic and stability. Somebody who's stable and somebody who's kind of chill, just not somebody who's always over emotional. Somebody who's just chill.
And what can Destiny work on?
Destiny, I think Destiny can work on. Destiny tends to put up walls.
Yes.
So I think Destiny can work on being a little bit more trusting. To a certain extent. I mean, you always got to have your guard up. You can't just trust any and everybody. But I think you can work on, those walls, those barriers that you form around you, to protect you and your feelings and things like that. Also, I think you can work on, you're an introvert. So I think you can kind of work on being a little bit more, I ain't gonna say outgoing, because I think when you get with your friends, you are outgoing. But I think you're a little bit moody. Yeah, you're a little bit. That's the word that I'm looking for. Moody. Yeah, I was trying to use the right word, but yeah, you're a little bit moody. If you could, just kind of work on that, then I think you'll be all right.
What about you? What you think? That's it.
Moody.
You always tell me not to be on my BS.
Yeah. And I was thinking of something when he was talking about the just you act like you're ready, because she moody today.
Yeah. How did y'all make it at such a young age, and did you almost walk out?
How many times?
Quite a few times. Every other day. I mean,
That first year was like every
hard.
month.
I think it was hard for us trying to get acclimated to each other because, you know, we were both young. We were 20. I was 20. I was just turning 22. She had been 22, you know, for a month and like 7 days or whatever, and 2 days. And I think just learning life. You know, we didn't know. We lived with our parents and we did what we thought was best. There's no guide. There's no handbook to this thing because every situation, every family is different. I think by being so young, we were determined to make it. I know I was determined. I was determined to make it because I had doubters, naysayers, and think that I was going to make it. You know, quitting school because you know, she got pregnant with you, and just going full time work, and just worked hard. And it was people that doubted that we were gonna really be successful as a family. So I was determined in my mind that we were. I wanted to prove them wrong. But I mean, that wasn't, you know, everything for me. I just wanted to be that guy, that, you know, that good father. I wanted to be that good husband. And I didn't really have a role model. I know my dad did the best that he could with what he knew how to do, but I just kind of went with the flow and knew what I didn't want her to go through, and I knew what I wanted, and those are the things, whether they were successful or not, whether they were the best for our relationship or not, that's what trial and error is for. You just try this, and if it works, you keep going with it. If it doesn't, then you throw it away. And yeah, I mean, it's just getting used to each other. You're gonna have your battles. You're gonna have your disagreements. This thing is not a sprint. It's a marathon, and it takes patience, a lot of patience, a lot of forgiveness, a lot of conversation, and a lot of growing. You got to be willing to grow. You can't have people feeding you in your ear what's best for you. You have to talk amongst each other and know what's best for you two together as a couple. And just, you know, just be willing to listen, to learn, to pay attention, chew up the meat, spit out the bones, and just go from there.
But you? How did y'all make it at such an age, and did y'all almost walk out?
How did we make it? Lots of prayer. Yes, we almost walked out. Every day. Every day, but it's not something that you go into knowing what to do. We made a lot of mistakes, a lot of trial and error with raising you, with loving each other, with caring for each other's feelings. We made a lot of mistakes. But at the end of the day, after all of that, everything, you know, it took us how long? A good 12, 13 years to iron out all the wrinkles.
Yeah.
So now we don't even.
It took from 96 to 2008.
Yeah.
For us
to really
get to where we needed to be.
To know that he was in my corner and I was in his completely. It took a long time, but now we don't even.
We laugh at stuff like that now. I mean, when it come at us, we already know what's coming. So our guard is up, and we already know what kind of defense mechanism we're going to use to.
And if we do have an issue, though, it's only about 5 minutes. Like, you say what you're going to say
right away.
You know, he ticks me off and he says something that's irritating. He says what he's going to say. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. But then 5 minutes later, we're laughing again because you just can't harbor on stuff. We've learned not to harbor on stuff.
Because it's so much greater to be friends and have fun with each other than to be angry and upset You know, life is too short, and we're so much at ease and at peace and feel joy and happiness when we're in that state. Why do we want that to live in our space anyway? So we get rid of it as soon as it comes, if it does come, and it very seldom comes now. It used to come all the time to where we couldn't stand each other, but now, I mean, it don't live here.
No.
It don't live here.
Okay. What is the difference between compromise and settling?
Compromise is when you take the other person's feelings or opinion and you guys come to a common ground on how to either solve an issue or to make a decision. Settling is when you just kind of go with the flow just for the sake of
Keeping peace.
keeping peace.
Mm-hmm.
Or for the sake of, keeping
And I don't
peace.
think anything is wrong with either one,
No.
depending on what
The
you guys agree,
situation,
depending on what you guys agree upon. I mean, if you settle, I mean, sometimes you do have to back off and, you know, let that war be won. If that's
Because
the way that
sometimes
you,
the other person is actually right.
right.
So sometimes you do have to kind of settle yourself and say, you know what?
Right.
I like when you was trying to buy. So say for instance, like when we're going to buy things, or if we're at certain places, there's no compromise. I have to be the voice of reason, and then he'll just settle. You know, because he'll go, and he's so spontaneous with like buying big ticket items to where he'll just or adding stuff on to items, and you just kind of like, oh babe, you know. So I'm kind of like that.
That's a good example.
So that's a good example
really is a good
of
example.
the settling, where he
Yeah.
has to say, you know what, you're right. There's no
Yeah.
compromise in that part.
Yeah.
No. But
And
like,
it's for the greater good, you know.
yeah, because
and,
we would be toe up.
yeah. And the thing about it is you gotta be okay with it. You know what I mean? I mean, if she's right, she's right. You can't let your ego get in the way.
Because
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you're gonna be regretting the decision that you made.
Or go up taking it back.
Yeah. So I mean, it's you can't feel like somebody is bossing up on you in a marriage. You walking hand in hand with this thing, y'all together.
Because every decision affects each one of you. So it's not like something that you do. You trying to go with your sissy? It's not like something that you do will just affect him.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever he does and whatever decision that he makes, it affects all of us as a whole, because we're a collective group.
A collective. How did you figure out my mom was the one?
I told you.
What'd you say?
I was gonna say.
How did I figure that she was
Let
one?
me tell.
What'd you say, Mom?
Whatever answer you want to go with, go ahead.
I'm not gonna say that.
I think I figured out that she was the one when and she was just different. She was
Told
She
you
was-
why.
she was more mature. I can't say, well, she was more mature to a certain extent. She wasn't out in the streets. She was a good girl, went to church, you know, totally opposite of what I was. So I think because we were opposites, that attracted us to, I was attracted to her. And I think I knew that it was a good part of me somewhere deep down inside, but it was just hitting and it needed somebody to pull that out. And I think she was the one that I seen that could do that, because it was a fight. It was a tug, you know, on me becoming who I am today. The streets had me, but she was persistent, and yet she was patient with me. She didn't judge me. She didn't even tell me to stop. She had to let me see something in her that really pulled the goodness out of me. So I think that we were more on a spiritual, on a more spiritual level, than I realized. And it was just, you know, we had kindred spirits. She was, when I first met her, I thought she was pretty serious, but, you know, she ended up being goofy. You
That's
know,
what people think about me too.
you know, goofy like I am, and that's what keep us together too. Just being goofy
But you
with each
changed
other.
a lot. Now you just be that little mouth, it's a little spicy. You got a little spicy in your old age with some of these.
But no, I'm not spicy. I think I just don't tolerate foolishness. You know what I'm saying? To a certain extent, I don't have patience for foolishness. I don't have patience for lack of respect. I don't have no patience for any of that. So I just, you know, before I was a little bit passive. Now, not so much.
Okay, what familial bonds and traditions did you do to keep your family as close knit as we are?
Ain't got nothing special that we do, and it's still not nothing special that we do. We don't have no rituals when we go to.
We just be together.
Yeah.
Just together, be open, just talk to one another, you know, about what we do in life, what's going on. I tell you about what's going on, you know, with me, and you tell me about what's going on with you, and you know, vice versa. So
But when they were smaller, we ate together. Like we would sit down at the
that's something that we
family table. I mean, we still do that now, but we sit down at the family table and eat together. But that, as far as like
traditional
stuff.
things. No, we didn't. It was nothing that we did.
We were young too, so I don't really know.
We just took y'all along with us, and you know, with her side of the family, we spent a lot of time with them. So I mean, it was just our families on Sundays. I think that's one of the things that happened when we for the first 10 years when we lived in our first house. Everybody would come over to our house on Sunday after church.
And we went to church together.
Yeah, and we went to church together. So I think, you know, our family and our extended family, you know, friends, our
Give me the mural hat.
other, you know, our blood relatives, we all came together and we were just one big family. So I think that's something that kept us tight.
I think it was one that I missed. I don't know. Okay, closed it out. Let's see. Oh, I think we already answered all of them.
Yeah.
I didn't tell why I liked him.
Oh, okay. So how did you know my daddy was the one?
At first, I didn't like him because he thought he was cute. Or at least I thought that's what he thought. But he was, even though he was in the streets when I first met him, he still had a good work ethic to try to hide me. He went to work. He went to work every day. I just knew. I knew it was something about him that was different. Because a lot of the guys that I dated before, they were just like real spoiled brats that had stuff handed to them. You know what I'm saying? So to have somebody that had to, that's going to get out and grind to get what he wanted, you know.
Some too.
Yeah.
So when y'all found out y'all were pregnant, how did that affect the relationship?
It did. It did. It was almost like we were okay with it.
Really?
Yeah, we were okay with it. I mean, you know, we didn't have the best jobs.
No,
you know,
we were making
at all.
$6.13
we were making very low wage at that particular time. But it never stopped because things started to come into place. Joanne got a better job, I got a better job, and it just kind of all worked out. And, you know, we just had to do what we had to do.
There was some years that it was rough.
There was a lot of years that was rough. I mean, it wasn't easy at all. It wasn't easy. So it makes you appreciate what what you worked so hard for, and what you've accomplished, and where you are now. You look at where you've gone, and where you've been, and where you are now, and it keeps you humble. It don't matter how much money you got, or what kind of level you go to. It keeps you humble, and makes you appreciate everything that you have, and what you do for your family. So for me, it's I thank God for everything that we've gone through.
Yeah.
It gives us the wisdom and the knowledge to be able to coach somebody that might be coming up behind us.
I mean, because to go through in our younger years, 2 chapter 7s and a chapter 13, just a foreclosure, you kind of learn what not to do, So everything that we, yeah, that's what I said, the foreclosure.
Yeah, foreclosure.
Everything that we went through was kind of like a learning lesson, and then if you don't learn from what you go through,
you'll just repeat the same thing over and over again.
So now, credit is important. Making sure stuff's paid on time and paid is important. But just, I wouldn't trade nothing for
having a savings account is important.
Having a cushion is important. Making sure that we instilled all those things into you two
is important.
So that you don't make the same mistakes that we made.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for us to go through what we've been through and learn from it, then don't pass it on to y'all.
Yeah.
It'll be
now,
doing
if you don't listen, that's fine.
It'll be doing us and you guys a disservice. So hopefully you guys kind of watch what we do, and like I said before,
that's probably why I'm so tight with my money.
Spit out the bones.
When you learn to not spend every dime, right, Kyle?
Okay, so last question: what is some advice y'all would give young single people?
Young single people?
Yeah, that are aspiring towards serious relationships or marriage.
Relationships. I would say for the women, do know that you're not gonna find a person that has everything that you're looking for.
I know.
But I don't suggest taking on no projects either.
I know that too.
Okay. I'm not just talking to you. I'm just talking to you. I mean, but I am talking to you. But and being open to allowing people to get to know you.
Mm-hmm.
Being a little bit vulnerable, not so vulnerable that you lose yourself, but vulnerable enough to allow somebody to get to know you, or you to get to know them. Don't put up the walls and what you think.
I think being transparent.
Being patient too.
Don't try to be somebody that you're not to impress somebody, because eventually they're gonna find out who you really are in the first.
So
anyway.
You work at McDonald's. Say you work at McDonald's.
Right. If you live with your mama, live with your mama. Mm-hmm. Let them know every flaw that you have. It's nothing worse than somebody perping trying to be somebody that they're not. Putting on this mask and playing games with people. Be patient.
Mm-hmm.
Don't lie. If you're dating, let that person know that you're dating. If you're looking for a monogamous relationship, and then let that be what it is. Don't go out and have 2, 3, people that you're talking to on the side, and this person think that y'all serious as a couple. If you go in line, you're gonna be in a relationship with a relationship full of lies. for the men, don't be so passive that you allow your mate to run you. And women, don't be so submissive that you let these men God over you. Y'all gotta come together as a unit. Look for somebody who has similar interests, so y'all have something in common. You don't have to have everything, the same, but be patient. Don't lie. No need to cheat. Be flexible.
Be willing to learn, because people change every day. So you got to
be willing to listen.
To learn every day.
Be humble. That's a big thing. Be humble. If you got a little bit more than that person, be willing to pull them up with you. Don't look down on them. Just be willing. If you look down on anybody, be willing to stick your hand out there and pull them up where you are.
Okay, but in saying that though, like, that don't mean.
I didn't say that. I'm saying you don't have to take on any projects, and you don't have to feel as though, this person ain't on the same level as you, that you have that responsibility to pull them up. I'm just saying, if that person needs a helping hand, be willing to do that.
Honest.
How you making him act up?
Stop.
Ain't we recording?
Yes.
Hope y'all get out.
Okay, no, this is my last question. Okay, so in my situation where
stop it for a
I'm
second.
24, I got my own house, got a career, got a car, and I'm seemingly established. I feel like there are times when men are either intimidated or feel like I'm too established, or I've even heard people say I'm too high maintenance. Like, how do I maneuver through that?
Well, that's not you. That's whoever. That's up to them. That has nothing to do with you. Because if he's not strong enough to handle the fact that he has to have something to bring to the table, then he ain't the one. Period. So ain't no need of changing.
It depends on. What do they mean when they say high maintenance?
Yeah, because you don't ask nobody to do nothing for you.
I don't know. I've heard that people thought I was too high maintenance.
Is it the way that you carry yourself?
Probably because her facial expressions say that. But when you get to know her, because people say I've been told I was stuck up for years. But when you get to know me as a person, it's not like that at all.
Yeah.
But to just see me in the streets or something, or like to just meet me, I may not be like the friendliest person when you first meet me, because I'm trying to feel you out, see if you got some kind of hoodoo on you or something, if I don't want to be bothered. So I'm feeling you out and you feeling me out, but you might think that I'm stuck up, but I'm really not. So that's probably just see it on your face. I don't know, but don't dumb me down what you doing.
Right, absolutely not. Don't dumb me down yourself.
Because guess what? If he can't handle it, then that means he ain't trying to do something to bring y'all higher.
He's lacking confidence in himself.
He should be able to bring what he has and what you have, and y'all make it bigger.
Yeah.
And if he got an issue with what you have, or what you have ain't paid for, you still gotta go to work. So don't be jealous of me. This come with bills. You know what I mean? That's crazy. Like, don't be intimidated. Yes, I handle my bills, but they still a bill. So, if y'all can't build together, he gotta have something. Now, he just can't come to the table.
Yeah, definitely gotta.
He can't come with just support.
Definitely gotta bring something to the table.
And think he about to sit down and eat.
And move into your crib.
No,
that.
Oh, and don't be shacking up. That's another one.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Shacking not good, actually.
Why
I know
not?
it's a lot of people that say that they need to live with that person to see if they can live with that person. But
we didn't do that.
if you already acting married, then you might as well be married.
Because most of the times when you live with somebody, it be years and years. You got people that's been married got 13, 14 years, and that's still my boo or my fiance. 14 years
I got
later.
a coworker that's been with his
Hey,
girl,
this is recorded.
his girlfriend,
I ain't gonna see.
or his fiance now for 20 years.
They're not married.
No.
Huh? No, they're not married.
So it's like, I just feel like, and my mom used to say, why buy the cow if you're going to get the milk for free? But your dad and I bought our house
A month before we
a
got married.
month before we got married. And we would go over there every day, clean it up, paint, stay there until 12 o'clock, almost 12 o'clock that night. But when midnight struck, I was like Cinderella. I had to go home, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Now, he would stay sometimes, but I had to take myself home. I was not, my mother said, nope, you're not going to spend the night over there with that boy until y'all say y'all do. And I would just expect for you to do the same thing. Now, if you want to move, that's your house. You do what you want to do. But I don't feel like it's necessary. I think that it prolongs stuff.
Mm-hmm.
People say, oh, I need to live with him to see. But I just know people that's been engaged for 15, 16 years and living in the same
They
house.
common law married.
I need the paper. Because after 10 years and we common law and you decide you want to walk out, you just walking out. And mom just, no. And I done gave you 15 years of my life. Give me my paper. Eddie, I want half, Eddie. You ain't leaving me after no 15 years. Talk about you just go pack your suitcase and leave. You a lie. I'm going with you right in that bag. Back me on up.
You done acting up?
Oh, he is so bad.
Look, his back legs and he's like
move because you got my
His
hand
back
away.
legs is
higher, so
longer.
he
On an incline?
Mm-hmm.
like a muscle car.
Yeah, he pigeon-toed.
He bow-legged.
Come on, boo boo. They talk about you. Come on.
Okay, I think that's it. Gracias.
Come on.